And the four problems are faulty beliefs of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, and I'm not safe. And so there's a lot of people who get stuck in those stories of thinking they're not worthy or they're not enough the way they are. And so because of that, their self-esteem and their self-confidence tank big time. So for me, when I work with a client, is really helping them to identify which of those four beliefs are the main driver that's holding them back.
Welcome to the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, this is Augustino. After years of working in real estate, I can tell you that your confidence level directly affects everything in your life. It controls how you see yourself, your experiences, and your life at large. If you have a strong belief in who you are and what you're capable of, you are more likely to go after what you want with courage, determination, and excitement. Well, today's guest understands this very, very well. She is a multi-award-winning author, a mindset mentor, and founder of Healing Life Story. 10 years ago, she left her medical clinic to start a holistic practice with the goal of helping others heal from the inside out. Through her writing, her workshops, and her keynote engagements, she teaches that success and happiness are achievable regardless of the current struggles and circumstances. To that end, she and her team help people heal from their emotional trauma, find their voice, and create a strong sense of inner peace and confidence. With all that, I'd like to welcome my good friend, Jacqui Letran, to the show. Jacqui, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on today.
Excellent, excellent. Well, now, if you like what Jacqui has to say, you can reach her via her website at JacquiLetran.com. And if you like our content, please don't forget to leave a comment and rate the show. Finally, if you text the word freedom to 202-410-4202, get our free ebook, The Bulletproof Guide to Finding a Broker. Okay, Jacqui, tell listeners a little bit about how you leverage self-confidence into building success.
And just like you said, self-confidence is the bottom line. It is how you can approach life. So if you feel good about who you are and what you're capable of, you're going to go for whatever it is that you want. And if you're second guessing yourself, you're stuck in self-doubts, or overthinking, you're going to lose a lot of opportunities. So in the work that I do, I help my clients to understand their emotional blocks that is holding them back, and also to help them to let it go so that they can step into their most confident, most authentic self, so they can go after whatever it is they want to go after with clarity, with confidence, and with courage.
Excellent, excellent. Because, and we talked about this a second ago, it's not only just the confidence that they have to have within themselves, but also the confidence that they're gonna display to the world as well, right? I mean, there's two separate components here, right? So if you don't feel confident in your own ability, even if you are capable, you're not going to take that action. And I guess secondarily, though, if the audience, the people you're calling on, your clients, if they're not feeling that you're confident, they're not going to want to do business with you either, right? It's like a two-stage approach.
Most definitely. And when we talk about confidence, people stay stuck on talking about confidence. But the other part that is so incredibly important that goes hand in hand with confidence is self-esteem. You not only have to feel good about your ability, you have to feel good about who you are as a person. Because even if I feel like, okay, so I can be the best mindset mentor, but I don't like who I am, it's going to translate in how I work with people and how I view the world. So working on your self-confidence and your self-esteem has to go hand in hand.
So now, how do you build that though, right? Like how do you help someone, I guess, first identify what those blocks are that's really helping them get over their self-esteem issues? Because it sounds like self-esteem is definitely one of those key factors it takes to help build that courage and help build that confidence, right?
I would completely agree. So I've been a mindset mentor for 10 years and I've been working with thousands of clients. And what I discovered over this past 10 years is that no matter why a person coming to see me, whether it's for confidence building, for overcoming anxiety, depression, weight loss, smoking cessation, it doesn't matter what it is. There are only four problems. Imagine that, right? And you think you have this list of problems, but it really boiled down to four problems. And the four problems are faulty beliefs of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, and I'm not safe. And so there's a lot of people who get stuck in those stories of thinking they're not worthy or they're not enough the way they are. And so because of that, their self-esteem and their self-confidence tank big time. So for me, when I work with a client, is really helping them to identify which of those four beliefs are the main driver that's holding them back. and then working on releasing the situations that cause those beliefs to be created in the first place so that they can move forward. But oftentimes, the thing is, those four belief system, the disempowering beliefs is what I talk about. They kind of like to go hand in hand. So usually when you have one, there's another couple hanging out, right? So it's not like I strictly think I'm not loved or not lovable. It's usually I'm not loved or lovable because I'm not enough or because I'm not worthy of it. So, but again, identifying the primary one and working on that will help loosen the other ones big time.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I often teach in our material anyway, when it comes to the real estate side of things, is to become very, very familiar with the language of real estate, with the language of what that investor is expecting. And I think by gaining and by gaining that knowledge, you're gaining that certainty that you become familiar with the material, right? You become familiar with what you need to say and how to say it and gain that confidence. So it sounds like that at least attacks one of these pillars anyway, is that becoming familiar with the information, becoming familiar with what you need to say and how to say it helps improve that, I guess, that confidence level, right? But it sounds like, but one is just not enough, right?
No, no. But what you said just right now, understanding the language of real estate, of investing is going to really help them. But here's another thing they need to understand about the language of, and that is the language of the words that they are using when they're talking to themselves. So if you go into a real estate transaction, for example, and you have a belief of I'm not worthy of success, what kind of self-talk is happening in the background? You're thinking, okay, wow, this is such a great deal, but what if I can't do this? What if this falls apart? What if I do this and these other things happen? And then you have a lot of negative self-talk, and the language that you use when you talk to yourself will create your experiences. So that's one thing I really teach. That I'm sure you teach that in your coaching with real estate, the language of real estate, the language of investing. Mine is the language of the mind. How do you use powerful commands so that your mind have no choice but to give you the exact results that you're looking for?
Yeah. Well, and Jacqui, I mean, I think that for many people, it sounds like a bunch of fluff, though. That's the thing, right? I mean, it's more than just thinking positive. It's really having a solid belief in yourself that you can pull off that deal, or you can make something happen. And what's that saying? Where attention goes, money flows. I think is how it is, right? And if your attention is constantly on failure, or I don't deserve something, then that's what's going to eventually happen, right? I mean, it's as simple as that. That self talk is like programming yourself.
Completely. All day long, we do it, and we tend to do it with a negative version. You have to be deliberate when you are choosing to do the positive programming, right? And I know initially it sounds like a lot of fluff. Oh, just think positive and be positive. Well, no, that's not it. But just think about it for a moment. I'll give you an example. I want you to imagine saying to yourself as you're walking into some sort of real estate transaction deal, right? And this deal is incredible, and maybe there's another two, three, four people who wants the exact same deal, so now you have some competition. How does it feel inside of you walking into that kind of situation thinking, oh my gosh, I really hope this is something that I can pull together? How does that feel? Do you feel power in yourself? Not at
Yeah.
all, right?
Right. Because there's an element of doubt. There's an element of doubt there.
Huge doubt. And because you have the doubt, what are you going to do? You're going to look very unconfident. You're going to show up in a way that the investor is looking at you and go, no, I don't want to work with him or her. These other person over there, they look super confident in who they are. So now walking into the same transaction with this exact same situation, but just different languaging. I'm so excited to make this happen for myself.
Right.
I hope I can make this happen. I'm so excited to make this happen. I mean, like, how will you show up when you are excited versus when you are hoping that something could happen?
That's right. And part of it is that visualization, right? You put it into your mind's eye, and you're programming yourself with success, right? It's super, super important. It's just what you said too. When you're programming yourself, you're exuding that confidence. You're telling the world, you're telling your audience that you are the real deal.
Exactly.
Right? That's amazing stuff. Now, what are some of the tools that you help people with then when you're coming up with these sorts of things? Like what could someone listening right now do today to help build some of that confidence?
Well, first of all, recognize that no matter what it is they're struggling with, it comes back down to one of those four. I like to make things super, super simple because if you think like, okay, well, I'm just unconfident and that's just who I am, I'm stuck. Well, yeah, you are stuck. However, if you say, okay, I'm not confident in myself right now, let's look a little bit deeper. What happened in my past that could be causing one of the four disempowering beliefs? And what are those four disempowering beliefs? What is the one that is affecting me the most? And let's say it's, I'm not enough. And then the thing I want to do is go back to your childhood because most of your belief system about who you are in the world was created in your childhood and start thinking back to the times that you felt like you weren't enough.
Yeah.
Work on those concerns. And the way that I help my client work on those concerns is a method that I created over the past 10 years. And it's not pure my creation. I took a process that's been out for many, many years and been, scientifically proven to be effective and created a version that works for me and my clients. And the method I'm talking about is called Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT for short. And I what's the right word for it? I created a system or framework that works for me based on those four beliefs that we've been talking about. So the process, I call it Restory EFT. And that's all about how do you take your disempowering story and transform that into powerful stories where you are now free to move forward and do whatever it is that you want to do. Because whatever you tell your mind will do for you. And this is your subconscious mind we're talking about. All day long, we program ourselves with very disempowering thoughts. I can't do this. I'm not good enough for this. Nobody's going to want me to do this with them or for them. And whatever you say, and you say often enough, you believe. And I know it sounds fluffy, like you said, to start changing those disempowering words to, I am worthy. I am confident. I'm capable of doing this or that thing. But guess what? The only reason you feel like you're not right now is because you've been practicing it for years. You've been practicing telling yourself disempowering things for years. And not only for years, but multiple, multiple times daily for years. So, whatever it is that you tell yourself constantly is going to be your new belief system. So, right away, it might not feel that way. So, let's say you are super, super shy and now you're like, okay, I'm gonna build my confidence. I'm listening to Jacqui. I'm listening to this podcast. It sounds amazing. I'm gonna build my confidence and I'm gonna say affirmation all day long because I hear affirmation works. And so you come from I'm super shy to you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in myself. And you feel this crushing pressure on your chest. Guess what you just affirmed to the world? You did not affirm you are confident. You are affirming that negative sensation you feel in your chest, which is I'm not confident, going back to I'm shy, right? So tools, they do work, but you have to use it in a way that makes sense, in a way that actually work. Because the first thing you have to know about emotion or your subconscious mind is that it pays attention to your emotion way more than the words. So you can say the most beautiful words, the most empowering words, but if you feel like a fraud as you're saying it,
Right.
what the subconscious mind will pick up is that fraudulent feeling and will create more of the same, which is not so great experiences. So you have to be willing to take the necessary steps to make those fluffy affirmation and nice and solid. And the way you can do that is when you do an affirmation, when you're reprogramming your mind with positive things, you need to pay attention to your body because your body will tell you whether or not you're in alignment with this thing you're trying to program yourself. So if you say, I'm confident, and you feel any kind of negativity, pressure in your chest, butterflies in your stomach, I don't know, lump in your throat, your body is saying, no, you're not. Don't lie to me. So what you're going to have to be willing to do is reprogram your mind in a softer way initially. And the way you would do that is rather than going straight to I'm confident and having your mind reject it and resist it, you go one step back and you go into I'm willing to be confident. Just changing the language. And it's just, super simple, right? I'm willing. You're just changing one word, but how does that feel inside of you? All of a sudden it feels doable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Going
That's right.
from I'm unconfident hoping to be I'm confident, and your whole mind is resisting to going to I'm willing to be confident. Your mind is so willing to create for you. So if you're working on reprogramming your mind and it's not working the way you want it to, be willing to soften it up to willing. And if that still doesn't work, if your mind is still resisting and fighting you on the I'm willing to be confident, soften it to one more step. I'm willing to know it's possible for me to be confident. Your mind won't fight that. A willingness to know something is possible, your mind will hang out there all day long. And having that change in language from I'm not confident to I'm willing to know it's possible that I could be confident is a huge game changer already. And that's going to help you to continually step up to the next level and then the next level.
One thing that Les Brown talks about is to write out your affirmations and really do exactly what you just said, but do it first thing in the morning. I mean, it's a practice I've started doing years now. And that's really led to my transformation about getting out of corporate America and now doing real estate. That's my full-time gig. Do you find that time of day when you actually really sit down and really help build these affirmations, do you find that that is a big part of building that confidence?
It's huge. And so, what I actually do with my clients is I help them to create what I call a masterpiece. And a masterpiece is, you know, several paragraphs of affirmations, of individual affirmations, but creating with these affirmations the full story of the life you're looking to build. And I do ask my clients to commit to doing their affirmations or masterpiece twice a day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. And here's the really good reason. There's two really powerful reasons for that. The first one being is most of us first thing in the morning, we wake up and we think about all the thing we have to do. And then a lot of us will get kind of tense and overwhelmed before we get out of bed. We're already in this negative state of being. At night, what most of us would do is we'll lay in bed and think about all the things we should have, would have, could have done better. Or we think about the long list of things we have to do the next morning. And of course, we go to bed in that kind of negative state and we wake up in a negative state and the whole thing keep continuing. So doing it in the morning and last thing at night, the first thing you're going to do every single morning is you're going to lay in bed. And I recommend that my clients actually record themselves reading out the masterpiece and owning every single statement and pausing for 3 to 5 seconds in between each statement so that when they listen to it back during the pauses, they can actually visualize what that statement looked like and feel like to them. So now you're in bed, you're just waking up. You just, first thing you do, grab your earpiece, stick it in your ears. And now you're hearing your dream life and you're living your dream life. And you're going to bring in so much positive energy that you're going to be excited to hop out of bed and then pursue your dream life. At night, with all the things that happen in a day, you're going to bed stressed out. You're going to bed thinking about all the things that you didn't do quite right. You're going to reset again. You're going to reset with all of these amazing positivities to allow you to rest and be calm, allow your mind to fully regenerate overnight. And then you wake up in a really good mood. So you have a choice, right? You're going to do one or the other. You're not going to just hit the bed and fall asleep instantly. You're going to hit the bed and either review your day and think about negative stuff, or you can choose to pick the positive thing. Same with starting your day out. How would you like to start? Thinking about all the things you have to do, or think about creating this amazing life that you know you deserve. So that's one reason for morning and night. The other reason too is when we are super tired, we get kind of that groggy state. And in that state, your brain wave is in a pre-hypnotic state, is in theta level. And during that time, anything that goes into the subconscious mind stays a lot deeper. And so programming yourself when you are kind of in that sleepy state help your mind to accept it so much quicker and so much deeper. So I do recommend first thing in the morning and last thing at night, as well as anytime you're about to head into the situation. Spend 5 minutes ahead of time, spend 10 minutes ahead of time, living and reliving your masterpiece, because you do it anyway. You get to, again, choose the negative version or the positive version. Going into a big meeting, will you have, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't work out for me? What if they think I'm a fraud? What if the other people are better than me? That is still the masterpiece, just the negative version. So you can choose to then focus on what it is you truly create. having statement that I'm confident in who I am. I'm relaxed. My mind is focused on creating this great connection with the people in front of me. I'm ready to make the best deal of my life. This is so exciting. Whatever you tell yourself, your mind will work hard to create that experience for you.
Yeah. Well, I think though that for many, many people, it's, I mean, not for, I think for everyone really, it takes a long time to manifest it, to write down the masterpiece, to actually living that life it takes a high degree of time. I mean, I'm trying to remember from when I was working in corporate America years ago, and I was not happy with my life at all. It was a fine job. It was a great company. It just wasn't for me. Right. And it took years until finally kicked me out. Really is what it was. That's what it took. Right. And so I was willing to put up with that, telling that story of that, even though I was trying to get out of that place and try to get into the life that I really wanted to live. But instead I stayed there because it was comfortable. I think that that's a big part of it too. Right. But it took years really to really manifest that vision. And I mean, would you say are there any shortcuts or anything else like that, or is it just takes time, right? I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts around that?
I don't believe it has to take long. I actually don't believe it has to take.
I'm a slow learner.
There's always resistance. There's always resistance because
Yes.
the subconscious mind's primary directive isn't success or happiness. Your subconscious mind's primary directive is to keep you safe. And unfortunately, safe just means stay exactly the way you are, don't change. Right? So
Yeah.
your subconscious mind is programmed so that you stay exactly where you are. So yeah, you want all of these things. That's all conscious, logical wants. Subconscious mind is going, no, don't do it. You're going to fail. Don't do it. It's not going to work out. Don't do it. It's so safe and comfortable and so easy right here. And so because you hear all the fearful thoughts and because you hear the reinforcement of it's so comfortable and easy to stay right here, you choose to stay right there. But you also have the ability to choose to do something different. And I think the big difference between being able to do it quicker versus taking the longer route is really discovering the root causes of your emotional blocks. Because if you are in this space where there's stuff, we all have stuff, right? We all have stuff that happened in our past, and it doesn't have to be super traumatic like rapes or, being robbed at gunpoint. It could be, I didn't get picked to be on the kickball team during recess. That can cause a lot of negative beliefs. And once you create a negative belief to stay with you for the rest of your life, and you're operating from that perspective. So if you have all of these stories and you have all these disempowering beliefs, and you're like, well, let me try this new confidence building thing that I just learned about. All you're doing is slapping a band-aid over the problem. And it's going to boost you a little bit forward, but then your subconscious mind will kick back in again with even more fearful thoughts and more self-doubts, because every single time you are putting effort into changing who you think you are, who you believe you are, what you think you're capable of, your subconscious mind will think that you are at risk for danger. And it's going to do everything it can to get you back into that same safe space. So it will create fear and doubt. And for most of us, when we start having the fear and the doubts, we go back to our old behavior. And that's why things can take a really long time. So if you take the time to create foundational changes, then you can hyperspeed everything else. And it doesn't have to take a long time to create new foundations for yourself, new belief system about yourself. And the program that I created, the Restore EFT, I'm so madly in love with it. Not only because I created it, because it actually worked. I've been doing this for 10 years with thousands of clients. And I truly see that people, once they understand there's only 4 major issues that they have to work on. Again, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not loved, I'm not safe. Once they transform that into, I am enough, I am worthy, I am loved, I am safe. Seriously, what problems can't you handle if you truly own those 4 beliefs so deeply within yourself? So taking the time to do the foundational work, most people don't want to do it because they want the result promised over here with a Band-Aid. But if you take the Band-Aid approach, you'll come right back. So
Yeah.
be willing to start with the foundation, get yourself really solid, and then start moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think part of it too is that sounds to me anyway, and just from my own experience, that I had a vision to do something in real estate at the time when I left technology to get into real estate, but it wasn't exactly clear,
Mhm.
precisely clear at that time, right? I was still doing like single family stuff, and I was getting into that, and I was starting to get into multifamily. This is a long time ago, but I think it had that clarity been defined. You're right. I think that that time would have been shortened a great deal, and so really creating the defining the clarity up front as far as what you want to see happen in your life is a big part of really escaping your current circumstances and really making a legitimate effort to get to the other side of that goal, that vision, right? To make it happen. I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles for many people, right?
And again, it's because your subconscious mind will fight you.
Yep.
You're looking to create clarity, your subconscious mind will put all sorts of fear and doubt into you so that everything becomes cloudy. So, working on releasing your fear and your doubts will help you to gain that clarity so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know what though, Jackie, when we've talked so far about all of the blockages and all the things that really prevent us from seeing that success. But I think on the other side of the coin, though, too, those same tools can be reprogrammed. So all you can get is success as well. I mean, that's a great thing about the systems that every single human has on the planet is that if you apply the right programming, then you can achieve those things that you're going after because of the stuff, the quote stuff
Good stuff.
that's inside us, right? And then that's a great thing about how that works, right?
Mhm. There's a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yes.
So once you have your system, you can apply it to any aspect of your life and you're going to have amazing results.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think that's a great thing that I've come to realize is that, and I mean I learned the hard way by going through a lot of failures and a lot of bad things, that you develop a callus over that fear, right? So now there's not a whole lot that scares me anymore in the real estate business. Now, I don't recommend everyone does it that way, but that's just what happened to me, right? But that's one thing though, Jackie, that I personally do is everything you just mentioned. Where early in the morning I'm listening to Tom Bilyeu impact quotes. It's almost like programming for my brain when I'm half asleep behind the wheel driving, which probably is not a good idea either. On the way to the gym, but programming programming your subconscious with all these positive things about what a badass you are or what you're going to do, and then getting a good workout in is a great way to really kick off your day. And I mean, I can tell you that's changed my life anyway. But that just works for me. I mean, but it sounds to me like your program can really help a lot of people out there that are really having a problem overcoming that fear that they're experiencing in their life today, to really keep them from getting into that real estate deal, taking that next step of taking down go partner up with someone to take down a big property, that kind of thing. And that's one of the things that you really have to do to really get it in check if you're going to see any type of success.
Yeah, like you said in the very beginning, your confidence level, what you think you can achieve, that's your limitation. And if you think you can achieve anything you put your mind to, yes, you will. If you think this is your limitation, you're going to hit that ceiling and you're going to stay there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, what is that one piece of bulletproof advice that you'd give to that listener that's tuned in and really listening, and they really want to see a change happen in their life? Like, what would you tell them?
There's one area we haven't talked about yet, and that is just being kind to yourself. I know it sounds so incredibly simple, but that is how you're going to boost your self esteem and self confidence really easily. What most of us do when we don't achieve our goals, we beat ourselves up even more. We call ourselves names. I mean, the way that we talk to ourselves is incredibly um, bullying, right? You are your like biggest bully. So rather than doing that, give yourself the space and grace and talk to yourself as if you were talking to somebody you love the most. So like if your best friend came up to you, your significant other, your child come up to you and say, hey, listen, I am feeling so crappy about myself because I made this huge mistake. You're not going to beat them down. You're not going to say, oh my gosh, how stupid are you? Why did you do that? You ever learn, you blah, 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 right? Bleep, bleep, bleep. But that's how we talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, if again, the person you love the most just came up and say, hey, I made this huge mistake, you are going to do everything you can to reassure them that everything is okay and that they are amazing and that you're there for them. Now, if you speak to yourself with that kind of respect and love and appreciation as you do with other people, that's going to build your self-confidence and self-love big time. So kindness to self is so incredibly important.
100%. 100%. I totally agree. Yeah, don't beat yourself up too much. I think when we are our own worst critic, I think that there's that as well.
Yes. And not just don't beat yourself up, is support yourself. Why can't we go all the way there, right? Speak to ourselves with words that are inspiring, that's motivating, that's encouraging, that is supportive. We do that for other people. Why can't we do that for us?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes we need to hear that even from ourselves.
Yeah, especially from yourself. Because again, think about it. You dumb versus,
right.
Oh, okay, so that didn't work out. Let's see what else we can do.
Yes. Yes.
I take the second one every single time.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, guys. Now, if you want to reach out to Jacqui, reach her via her website at JacquiLetran.com. We'll include a link in the description. I hope you got to see that self-confidence is super, super important. It's really the foundation of who you are. It is the antidote to your insecurities, your anxieties, and your self-doubt. Now get out there and go ahead and take some action, all right? Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the Bulletproof Cashflow podcast.